Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name's Ben Moseby. It's Tuesday. Thanks for joining us for what is going to be, well, a brilliant day. Not one show, not two shows, not three shows, 4 shows coming your way today. Let me run you through those so you know exactly what's happening and when. Launch parties coming your way tonight. That will be the final show of the day, live at 5. Tonight, amongst other things, going to be looking at those amazing ombre ink pads. Then, where we have got a brilliant kind of 2-for-1 really in the middle. We've got a masterclass at 2 o'clock. If you've got the Royal Jungle collection, make sure you're with us because we have got some brilliant demos as far as that is concerned, plus your opportunity to pick up items from that collection in that hour-long show. And then straight off the back of that, the first of our 2 new shows today, Crafts Under the Hammer. Yes, it sounds exactly like it's going to be. A 30-minute show. You will have 10 deals, 3 minutes on each item. The quicker you are, the more likely you are to snap up those deals, which will only be live for the length of that half-hour show. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, it's going to be a lot of fun. I get to bang a hammer for half an hour, so I mean, why would you not want to watch that show? And then, of course, we kick things off with our brand new show, our Easter Craft Extravaganza. Easter is very much on the horizon, so we've got an hour-long show for you with loads of inspiration coming your way, loads of Easter craft. If you want to buy anything Eastery, make sure you shop the show on the website and you'll find loads of great deals there. Plus in this show, and I'll tell you more about this in just a second, going to give you the chance to win. All you have to do is guess the amount of eggs in my jar. More on that in just a few moments' time, but let's say hello to the guy who's going to be providing all of the inspiration and demonstration over the course of the hour. Mr. Craig Laird, what have you got up your Easter sleeve, sir?
I have got lots coming your way within this hour. I'm going to be showing you 4 things. We're going to kickstart. What about scrapbook page? Now, so many of you ask how to lay out a scrapbook page. Well, we're going to do that when it comes to the Easter theme. Then what we're going to do is we're then going to make this really, really cute Easter basket. Now, as you can see here, they're going to work really well for the springtime as well. Now, if these 2 aren't enough, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this cute little bunny rabbit.
Aww.
But what we're going to do, Ben, is we're going to turn it into a garland. We're going to do that. Then what we're going to do is this. Now, we're not actually going to do the whole thing there because there's a lot to do within the hour.
Yeah.
What I am going to do is I'm going to show you how really, really easy it is to make one of these rosettes, and then all you need to do, pop them together on a little ring that you've created with Mountboard or Cardstock, and that is what I've got planned within this 1-hour show.
So, as per usual, any comments, any questions, you want to fire those into us. We've got Rachel on the show this morning. Radical Rachel already in is Trudy. Good morning from a still dark out Florida. Julie says, good afternoon all on this beautiful day. Hello, LC, saying good morning, Ben, Craig, team and all. Hope you're all having a great day thus far. Donna Marie says, good early morning from North Carolina. And hello, Lynn Harvey. Lovely Lynn says, hi, Ben, Craig, the amazing team, the wonderful social superstar and everyone. I hope everyone is well and enjoying the day. We are well. We're having a cracking day so far. Alcia joins us from the Netherlands. Tina B is in North Carolina. Hello, Nancy Walter from Indiana. It's cold and supposed to snow today, you say. And Alcia says, recrafts under the hammer. You smash it and we buy it. Yeah, something like that. It's going to be something a little bit like that. It's going to be fun and anything will happen. It's not been rehearsed. It'll be half an hour of chaos, but some brilliant deals. So 2 things from me before we get into this. First of all, can we just appreciate this beautiful Easter set and the beautiful Easter cupcakes which Christina has made. I'm not going to tip these, or just a tad, so you can sort of see. Look at those. How talented is our Christina in the cafe. You've got bumblebees, you've got the little bunnies there, you've got the ladybirds as well. Make sure you have a good look at these because they're not going to be in the second show. They will have disappeared. We're eating all those, but isn't that amazing? And secondly, getting close on this. So over the course of this show, I want you to tell me how many eggs you think are in this jar, okay? we are going to give away a voucher to the person who either guesses it correctly or gets the nearest to the actual amount in the jar. It's a £25, $25 voucher. As I say, get your guesses in, get your comments in, and we will pick the nearest or near. If anyone gets it exactly right, that person will win the £25, $25 voucher. As I say, over the course of the show, Craig has got some brilliant Easter projects for you. If you want to shop anything on the show, we've got loads of goodies for you. You can watch and shop, of course, over on the website. Details at the bottom of your screen right there. Loads to get into it. So let's get going. As I say, any comments and questions, fire those in. Get your answers in as well as far as the Easter eggs are concerned. But let's see our first demo.
First things first, we're going to be using my absolute favourite. You know, many of us have got a number of these pads being the pastel pads. So this is what we're going to be using for, you know, a few of the projects anyway. Not only this, many of you have also got our 12 by 12 Easter paper pad, so we're going to be using that as well. And then if that wasn't enough, we've brought in another two of my favourites, the left fold alphabets and also our big happy dies. Now, if you don't have any of these, you can always, of course, just use what you've got at home and you can follow the flow as to what I'm creating. So let's go in and let's start with our 12 by 12. So it's from the pastel pad that I just showed you a moment ago. And then what I've gone in to my 12 by 12 Easter pad, I think it was called the Hoppy Easter 12 by 12. I've come along and I've just chopped it to 6 inches and then I've come along to 11.5 inches. And then what I've done is I've taken a little bit of grey cardstock, and this one here, you will see, is going to be 6 1/4 by 11 3/4. This is then going to break up the pad because I love that beautiful spring tone colour that you've got within the actual pastel tone. So I want to see some of that. But on the other hand, what I also want to do is I want to then, of course, make it Easter themed with the actual pattern paper. So if we add that one in, just lining that up. So we're just going to do simple mats and layers. The thing with it being a scrapbook page as well, you don't necessarily want a lot of weight to it. You want a lot of dimension, but you want to try and do that in clever little ways. So these are a few little ways in which you can do that, just by encapsulating kind of part of the pad, but as well as that background all in one. So that is the basis of our scrapbook page done. So if I just set that to the side for now, and then we're going to go in with that big happy die. So we've gone in with another piece of the yellow, and then I've got an additional piece of grey card, all linen of course, which you guys will know, being my favourite. So I'm going to go into my large plate because if I go in with the word Easter, now I'm not going to take each word to spell Easter, I'm just going to do one just to show you how I do my drop shadow for those that have never seen it before. We're going to go in and let's just tape that one down. Now for this one, because it's quite a simplistic shape die, I'm going to go frosted shim. I'm going to take out the magnetic and then we're going to go in with our top plate. Now if you do happen to have these dies and you've got things such as your junior or your midi or anything like that, that will absolutely work size-wise. If you are new, do not worry. Do not worry about that sound because what that is this is still kind of a relatively new plate. It's a completely flat, relatively new plate. It's only been used a couple of times. So that cracking sound is actually all of these straight lines within the die cutting into the plastic.
Yeah.
So it's normal, don't worry, don't fear. And as you can see, it's still die cut absolutely perfectly. Now, because I'm using our older left fold alphabets, this is where, hence the name, the fold on the side. So if I take my scissors, you're left with a little kind of embossed line.
This is the first time I've ever seen you demonstrate this, even though I know that you do it all the time.
Do it all the time?
Yeah.
I do it all the time, yeah. I think I could probably count on one hand how many times I've used those left fold alphabets in the way that they were actually designed to be used.
Yeah.
I always use them as single individual alphabets. So I'm going to do the same again. Same die with the word happy, and then we're going to go in with the letter E. And we're just going to repeat that step again. We're going to go frosted, and then we're going to go in with our top plate here. And it's a really simple layout. However, it is doing something that you might not necessarily notice at first glance, and it's actually pulling your eye in to the photo that you choose to use. And it's just about that diagonal. It's about that layout, and I'll explain that in a moment once we come to lay that out. So I'm going to do what I've done there a moment ago. We're going to take that happy, and then we're also going to take that E. And if we do that drop shadow, so let's just chop that down. So I'm following that embossed line that you also get. And now I've got my individual letter.
Yep.
Take now our tacky glue. You can take your tape runner if you want to. It's entirely up to yourself. But we're going to go in with my glue on the back. And then what I'm going to do is for a drop shadow, what I always like to say, Ben, is I hover right over the top, and then I pull down to the bottom right-hand corner ever so slightly. And this is giving me a really thin drop shadow. And that's all that I want, just a really, really thin drop shadow that if I bring in a little bit of the white, you can just see that grey popping out from the side. So let's do the same with the happy here. So same idea with my glue or your own chosen adhesive. Many of them will work, but what I'm also doing for every single layer, and for those that know me will be shocked, not a foam pad in sight. Not a foam pad. I am going to get a little bit of depth, and you'll see that in a moment, but because the intention would be for this to go into a scrapbook, I want to limit the amount of height that I've got within each page. You can absolutely do that. No problem at all. It just depends on how many pages you want to put in your scrapbook. But if I do my drop shadow there, if I even just bring in this little bit of the blue in the back, just lets you see that grey that little bit more. So while we're here, what we'll do is let's do a little bit of our layout to start with. I've got a piece of white card. Now I've gone 4x6. I've chosen not to put a photo as such, Ben, because I want this to be the layout that you can see, you can follow, and then you can, of course, choose your own photo.
Yes.
It is 4x6, as I said, so it's a good standard photo size, and all that I'm doing is I'm matte and layering that onto another bit of the yellow and the grey. Notice I'm not using a big abundance of different colours, different papers, different dyes. I'm keeping it quite simple. I've got kind of a small selection of tools and implements that I'm using to then create the scrapbook. So before we start to assemble it all together, let's visually get this into place. I've also got my letter E. I've also done all the rest of the letters beforehand to give us Easter.
It's such a handy size, the left fold, aren't they? That's why you
They
love
really
them,
are.
isn't it?
That's why I use them all the time, Ben. So handy. And we've got Happy Easter. Our photo's going to go into there. We'll finish off with a couple of the daisies. But this is really easy, Ben, to replicate for any occasion.
Yeah.
So that could be Happy Birthday with the birthday paper in there. It could be, you know, Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas, depending on the sentiments that you've got. So it's a really easy scrapbook page to use and follow and create all throughout the year. So let's go in now, and then let's go and commit to the stick. Now, before I go in with the happy, let's do all of these letters to start with. And we're going around back with my glue, and I'm going to go along the bottom, and I'm keeping it quite easy for myself. And what I mean by that is I'm just going a couple of millimetres above the base, and then that means it's really easy to create that nice even flow of each of the letters. Although you can go at jaunty angles if you want to and have a little bit of fun. But if I then go in with each of these ones, press them in, and at this point, if you really wanted to add a little bit of height, you could pop the word Easter on maybe like a low foam pad, maybe about a 1mm foam pad, or if you are using glue gel, a shallow layer of glue gel. But if we come into there, like so, press that last one in, or second last one, into this one. So we've now got our Easter. And then once I'm happy with that one, what I can then do is then work backwards. So, I mean, I'm going from the bottom corner and working backwards and upwards. So keeping this shallow, keeping this flat too, just in with my glue. But what I'm also doing is I'm just going over the edge. This is what I mean by visually, Ben, what you're wanting to do is this is actually drawing your eye into the photo.
Yes.
Because the sentiment here is pulling your eye in, the sentiment here is pulling your eye up. So visually, your eye is going to go into that centre platform. We'll want to then create that little bit of decoration at the top as well. So let's go in with my glue. So I'm going to add my glue all the way over the back of the happy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun. And if you got our Easter treat bags,
Oh, yeah.
what I'm going to do is I've taken the little bunny rabbit ears. So I've die cut the little bunny
cute.
rabbit ears. That's going to go just underneath the letter P.
So these are from the treat box collection,
are.
aren't they? And they're in the shop to show if you want these.
They are indeed, and this is exactly where they're from. So I thought, let's have a little bit of fun and have that just popping out. So I can press that down into place. And then I've also gone from an old favourite all the way back to Sarah's signature collection, and this one being where we've got the daisies. But if you have got past collections like the daisy collection or a relatively new Laird flowers, which has the daisies, you can use those ones. But I'm just going to finish off. Now, of course, at this point, you'd probably want to then pop your photo in first, then add the daisies. That's entirely up to yourself. You've got options. You can add gems, you could add pearls, you could do inky edges if you want, but keeping it in a really, really nice, simplistic 12 by 12 form, visually drawing your eye in either from the top or either from the bottom. And then there you go. You've got your really, really cute 12 by 12 Easter scrapbook page for you to pop whatever photo or whatever written wording you want to pop in there.
Absolutely brilliant. First craft done, and as we've been talking about, if there's bits and pieces that you want to be able to make these particular items, shop the show on the website and you'll see loads of Easter deals right across the board. I'm loving all of the comments coming in. There are a lot of guesses as far as how many eggs in the jar. You need to guess before the end of the show. I would say you probably got about half an hour. I've seen guesses from about, well, as low as about 46, which was Doreen's guess. She says 46. Unless Ben eats one before the end of the show. What do you take me for? Would I do? I would. No, I'm not going to though. I've seen guesses 46 and I've seen guesses as high as 150 on here as well. So there's quite a range, but keep those guesses coming in. If you guess correctly, then there is a £25, $25 voucher for the winner. How many eggs are in that jar? A lot of people as well loving the Easter display, loving the cupcakes as well. That wreath we've got here, by the way, was gifted to Sarah. So, I mean, how stunning is that? Absolutely beautiful. And the cakes, again, I know you guys are poring over. A few people saying that you'd love a cupcake. I would send you one out, but by the time it got out to you, it would be squashed and stale. So we'll eat them for you. But Craig and I don't mind eating them, do we, Craig?
Oh, in my mind, they're already eaten. They're already gone.
Craig's claimed one, I'm having one, Jake's claimed one, Sam will have one, producer Johnny will have one. So, I mean, there's only 2 left now. So, yeah. Max is in here, so he'll probably have one. There you go, there's one left.
Thumbs up.
Who will give the other one to? I suppose Christina ought to have one, seeing as she made them. Beautiful set this morning, says Diane. The cupcakes are so beautiful. Hello, Elaine Roundtree in Gloucester. Hello also to Karen, who says, I noticed that Craig flipped his cutting plate, which is a good thing to remind those new to cutting. It is. And Linda says, thank you for showing the scrapbook page. I have so many dies, and it's fun to see how they can be incorporated into scrapbooking. Also, keep those pictures coming through as well. We've had some lovely pictures. Do you want to see a couple? I've got some here very quickly. Victoria Canalba, thank you very much indeed. Sending in your little creations there. Looks like you've made some cute little Easter bags, which are super cute. Look at those.
Oh, I
Victoria.
love them.
With the little eggs from that collection as well. Then let me show you a couple more quickly. Trish Lestelle, absolutely love your projects here with our Easter collection. I know this was one of the die sets. The bunny in the basket, I think, is absolutely brilliant. And the use of the cracked egg on there too. Super cute, Trish. Thank you so much for yours. And one more for now. Keep those pics coming in and we'll show more through the show. Cindy Condi, absolutely love your little goodie bags here. And I love the fact that you personalised them all as well. Look at those.
That's brilliant.
So good, isn't it?
That's really cool.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Victoria, for sending those in. Absolutely love those. Keep the comments coming through. Guesses on how many eggs in that jar. And, of course, keep your pictures coming through as well. Right, more demos to come. We've only got 40 minutes left on this show. And let's see the next demo with Craig, which is going to be a beautiful Easter basket.
Easter basket that you could pop some of your goodies in there, maybe a little bit of the Easter eggs, maybe some of the little cupcakes if they last. But this is what we're going to be making just here. Now this has also been made from our 12 by 12 Hoppy Easter paper pad, which I know so many of you have got. Now what I've already done beforehand, Ben, is I have taken one of the 12 by 12 and I've chopped it down to 9 by 9. Then what I've done is I've taken my red adhesive spray, the permanent red adhesive spray, and then I've sprayed it on the back and then I've popped it onto some of our white cardstock just to give that a little bit more stability because we're going to be using it as a basket to pop things in there. So that's all that I've done beforehand. You could use your tape runner, your tacky glue if you want. That's up to you if you don't have the spray. So chopped it down to 9 by 9 inches. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our scoreboard here and we're going to keep it really simple and we're going to score at 3 inches all the way round. So I like to do light scores and then multiple times, especially because the pattern paper, off the top of my head, it's about a 180. So therefore it's 180 on top of a 300 GSM white cardstock. So I just want to go lightly and I want to go a few times. And then what I've also done with the excess remaining, I've got my strip here, which is 1.5 by 9 inches. So that's 1.5 inches by 9 inches. That just came off the edge and that is going to be our handle. So essentially that is it. So what we need to then do is we just need to go in and then we just need to fold all of these lines. Now when it comes to folding, I always like to do it by hand and my thumb to start with. Then what I'll do is I'll then go in and I'll take my bone folder and then we'll give it a nice burnish by flipping it each way. And I've gone in with that beautiful daisies because you could easily use the Easter egg paper, but I think something about Easter as well, even if you don't celebrate Easter as such, the daisies I think are a really good transition between the spring and the Easter, and you can use them for both, hence why we've gone for this one. Then what we're going to do, we're going to be left then with our blocks. You can actually see them there. So while I hold it that way, what we're going to do is we're going to cut, cut, cut and cut. So we're going to go in. I'm just going to go in the middle of the score line. Doesn't matter if you're at the left or the right or in the middle, but we're going to then cut upwards up to that first score line. I'm going to then turn it around and then we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to cut up and then we're going to cut upwards like so. So then this is what we're going to be left with that you can see here. And then if I just hold it that way, what you'll start to see in a moment is how the basket starts to come together, just by starting to fold each of these in. Now what I've also done, and we'll do it in a moment, is I've just taken some more pattern paper from the Hoppy Easter collection and I've chopped them down to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now I'm not going to stick them on just yet, because if I'd done that, Ben, what would tend to happen is we're starting to then cross over. So if I then just pop them on at the end, just my preferred way of doing it, and then we're going to start off. What I also like to do, and this is just me, I like to just do a little pencil line at that centre point, and I'll explain why in a moment, which of course is going to be the 1.5. And the only reason I like to do that then is visually, Ben, it means then I can then eye up and line up just that centre point
Yeah.
where the two parts come together. And it's just the way that I like to do it. You don't have to, but the option's there if you want. And then what I also like to do, and you might find a different way of doing it, I like to connect these two bits to start with. So let's just lift that back bit. So just those two bits, connection bits there. So if I move that down, I like to then just connect them first. So I'm just going to let that hold and let that grab for a second. Use your tape if you want to, your red liner tape. And then I'm going to do the same within this side too. So let's just move that one to the back. And then I'm just going to add my little bit of glue into place. I would, of course, recommend the tacky glue for something like this, because the chances are you're going to be popping bits and pieces in it, maybe like Easter eggs or that sort of thing. So the tacky glue dries all the way through the fibres of the paper and the card. And then once I'm happy with that, what I'm then going to do is I'm just going to add some glue onto the side. I'm going to then go inwards. Now, you'll notice here, if I popped glue all the way over that back panel, what could happen, Ben, is you'll see it down on the bottom.
Yeah.
So what I just do is visually, I'll just go in and I can see my glue needs to go into there and my glue needs to come up into that corner. I'm going to fold that flat if I do it that way so you can see in, and then all that I'm going to do is just press down. Press that down, let that grab just for a few moments or two, and then once I'm happy with that, what I can then do is turn it around, do exactly the same. So I'm going to do what I'd done there before, and I'm just going to go in with my glue here. I'm going to then go in with my glue here. I'm going to turn it around, and then of course you don't need to do it backwards like I'm doing here. I'm just doing it so you can see face on exactly what I'm doing. So we'll let that grab. And what you don't need to worry about is that little pencil line that I've put, because that's going to be hidden with the handle of the basket.
Yes.
So you don't need to worry about that. And then that essentially is the start of your basket, all done. And if you wanted to use double-sided papers, you can do. If you want to colour or ink or stamp on the inside before you assemble, you can do that. But let's go in with our strip now, and then we'll want something just to start to manipulate the handle. So it could be your bone folder, it could be your scoring tool, it could be a pen in the kitchen drawer, it could be absolutely anything, just so that you can start to create that curvature. So we can then go in with our handle. I'm going to go back within my tacky glue again, and I'm just adding a little bit on each side here. And then this is where, if you do have the pencil mark or you've got that pen mark, it's going to be hidden. So we can then hold that down. But what's also lovely is adding that little bit of tactile. So maybe going with brads, things like that, maybe little split pins, because then what that would do is that would make the handle move side to side if you added the little brads in there. So you've got different ways in which you can then use it. Let's go in, and then if you're wanting to know where I'm lining up, just where we've got the point there, I'm just going to go in, and then I'm just going to press down like that.
This is so much quicker and easier than I thought. I thought there'd be a lot more construction.
Sometimes they do, yes. Sometimes things like the baskets, they can look a little bit daunting, but really is simple. It's 9 by 9, and then all you're doing is scoring at 3 inch, and then of course at 6 inch. Then we're going to go in. You can, as I said before, you can do your mats and layers to start with. I'm doing it at the end, and don't worry about, of course, it covering the handle. You're not going to see this because we're going to put some daisies in place. So it's also about hiding the little connection points, but we're going to go in with my glue. So then by the end of this show, you're going to have projects where I've used a lot of the same components, like the pastel paper pad, the Easter paper pad, so you know that they're all going to complement each other, or of course, go rogue, and this could be for any occasion as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this with a beautiful foiled cardstock? And you could use this for maybe like weddings as well.
There's a lot of our US viewers mentioning Mother's Day, of course.
Mother's Day in the US. That's it, exactly. Imagine doing this with Halloween papers at Halloween time.
That'd be well good.
And that's what I wanted to do with the projects within this show. Yes, keep them focused on Easter, as that's what's coming up. But each project you'd be able to use out with the Easter theme, just by changing the colours. And then also gone back to my favourite daisy die. I've already created a daisy. I'm going to go into the middle just here. I've just popped a gem already in the middle of my daisy, and then I can turn that around. We can then go into the base there, add that onto the opposite side. But if you really wanted this to be pure on Easter, this could be an Easter egg die, that could be the little bunny rabbit die if you want to. But we'll press that in, and then of course all you need to then do is add your tissue paper. You've got your little Easter basket. So there is what we've created, and that is exactly the same. The only difference is I've popped some yellow tissue paper in there, and that one is giving you your Easter basket.
Fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Loving this show. You guys are loving this show too. I will show you the jar up close again in just a second because a few people asking to see that. Donna Marie Harrison has gone for the highest amount of eggs so far, 457. You say, in that jar. So we've gone as low as 46 and as high as 457. I'll give you a clue. It is somewhere in between those two numbers. There you go. Kirsty D says 76 eggs. My son says 32. Victoria says, thank you for showing my picture. I didn't have enough time to decorate the treat boxes properly. They were for my daughter's teachers. Denise has joined us, just come in from the craft shed as having a sort out. Hello. And what a darling basket, says Karen. Good for Mother's Day too. And Carol says that basket could be for Ben's daughter. Oh, it'd be nice that. She's off ill at the minute. She was off yesterday, off again today. So, yeah, maybe let me have it at the end of the show. Pop the, here we go, basket there, eggs there, in, take home, best dad in the world. It was no effort, honestly. Our little sandbox says, this looks so easy. I think that was the point, wasn't it? You know, the fact that it was hopefully nice and easy for all. And Lynn says, cute little basket, could be used for many occasions, birthdays, weddings, Christmas and more. Just depends on your cardstock you use and how you decorate them. And Justice Lee says, save the show and took notes. I'm excited to try the basket and the layout. And Pamela says, can I have a look at that jar again? I want to see how many eggs are in here. There we go. That is the jar of eggs. I would spin this all the way around, but I can't, unfortunately, because there's something on the back that doesn't really apply to what it is. So there you go. You get the gist in there. What do you think? Is that nearer 46 eggs or is that nearer 457 eggs? What do you think? Have a guess. Someone at the end of the show is going to win a £25, $25 voucher if you can guess the exact amount in there or nearest to the exact amount in there. And don't forget, everything you might want Easter based is on the show. We've got the treat boxes on there. We've got that Easter collection as well, which funnily enough includes this beautiful die which Jen Shank has been crafting with. There's also some beautiful crochet boxes on there as well from Hooked, where you can make cute little egg warmers. You'll see what I mean later on when we show you those. But let's show you a few more pictures that you guys have been sending in because these are gorgeous. Jen Shank, I absolutely love this. A different take, a more religious take on Easter, again with our brilliant Easter collection. How stunning is that? So beautiful. Very simple, stripped back, but absolutely stunning. Thank you, Jen, for showing us that one. Then we have got Rebecca Dancer. This is super cute. Initially, when I saw this, I thought that was a real mouse in there. I don't think it is. Oh, that looks so real. Doesn't it look real? That looks so real. Glitter paste and glitter glue, though, decorated that bag up, which is super cute. Thanks for that, Rebecca. And there's one more for now from Kim Rice. And again, I absolutely love this. I think my favourite die set from the Easter collection, Craig, that one there with the cute little bunny in the basket. It's a good one, isn't it? It's really, really fun. Yeah. Really cheeky. I love all these projects so far because you guys have obviously been using our collections but had so many different takes on all of these, from little treat boxes to bags to the cards as well. So it's so super cute. Thank you everybody for the lovely comments. Adorable basket, says Diane. Lynn says that bunny wreath is beautiful. An amazing basket, says Trudy. It looks harder to make than it was. Absolutely right. I think that's the point. You might have looked at that and gone, oh, I can't make that. But Craig steps you through it and you know it's absolutely achievable. My Little Melting Pot says Craig has been great with the demos so far. And that is not all, because we've got more demos coming up for you. In fact, the next demo with Craig is right now. Yeah. Still going to keep you in a little bit of suspense with the actual garland. Let's go in with some strips of cardstock, white card, and also
from the 12 by 12 Hoppy Easter paper pad. So what I've got some of my white, and I've cut these to 3/4 of an inch by 8 1/4. So that one there being 3/4 of an inch by 8 1/4 for the white card. And then the pattern paper I've cut to 1/2 inch by 7. So that's 1/2 inch by 7. This is going to be for the ears, and then for what's going to be kind of like the head of the bunny rabbit, I've got some other white strips here, but these ones are 3/4 of an inch by 7 1/2. So that's 3/4 of an inch by 7 1/2. But we'll move that to the side because we're going to focus on the ears to start with. Now, go in with your tacky glue if you want to. This one, for some reason, when it comes to things like this, I do like to use my red liner tape. So I'm going to go in, I'm just using the 3mm red liner tape. You could use the 6mm if you want to, no problem at all. And then I'm going to just snip those little bits. What I'm also going to do as well is I'm just going to roughly find the centre point. So I've just put a little pencil mark in that centre point, and then I'm going to put another piece of my red liner. And although I'm using the white card, this could be your pastel 12 by 12 cardstock. This could be other pattern paper if you want to. It's just because it's the bunny rabbit theme, I just thought I'll stick with the white. So I'm taking the backs off, and then what I'm going to do here is I'll take one of the pattern paper strips, and then I'm going to go face down up to the edge here. So you can just kind of see that difference in colour. So I've got a little bit of the white card just protruding out at each side. Then what I'm going to do on this side, and because this is shorter, this will start to pull upwards that you can see. So we're going to pull that one up, and we're going to do exactly the same. And we're just going to press that down. So this is what you're going to be left with that you can see there. And then what I'm then going to do is I'm just going to then pull that down so that connects into the middle here. Then what we're going to do is let's go in with our red liner tape again. And for this one, what I'll do, if I've got a 6mm, nope, just got the 3. So what I'll do is I'll just do this twice. I'll make this a little bit wider. So let's snip 1, and then we're going to snip 2. And what I'll do, Ben, is I'll do this twice, and then I'll bring in the other ones, just so we can, of course, recap. So we're going to take the backing off, and then this time, what we're going to do is this end here, that you can see, we're going to then just pop into the middle, like so, press that in, and then I'm going to turn it around because it makes it easier for me. I'm going to do the same again with that part here, is then going to meet in the middle. So if you're used to making bows, it's kind of like your paper bows that you're making, that you can see then, you've got that little look within here. Then what I'm going to do is let's add another piece of my red liner tape here. I'm going to go not quite within the centre, just a few millimetres up, although it doesn't really matter. We're going to take that off, so press that down, take each of these off, and then what we're going to do is we're then just going to pull that up so that they meet within the middle. And then I'm just going to release that, and then I'm just going to press down, so we've kind of got our little bunny ears going on there. So let's do that once again, just so that we can recap it twice. So I'm going to take another strip here, and then I'm going to add my red liner tape at the bottom. We're going to do it once again at the top, and then let's just find the middle there into here. Now, be forgiving on yourself if it's not quite within the middle. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be bang, bang on. It's not as accurate in that way, but as close to the middle as possible. I'm going to take these off, back in with our pattern paper. Once again, remember, we're going to go pattern paper face down. So we're going to go and meet that into the middle, press down. I'm going to hold that up, and then I'm going to pull up from the back, and then we're going to press down. And then what I'm just going to do is roughly within this middle, I'm going to let that meet where I've got my tape down at the bottom. Turn that around. Let's add my red liner tape in here. So let's add a couple of bits. If you're using your 6mm, you'd only need to pop just one strip of the 6mm when it comes to the red tape. Peel that one off. So grab hold of it, and then once we've got that, we're then just going to take each side. So bringing in from left or the right, whichever one you want to start with, we're going to just pull that into the middle, press it down, turn it around to make it easier, turn that in, press down, and then within the centre here, just above that centre line, let's snip a bit of red tape, and then we're going to then snip a bit of red tape. We're going to peel them off. So it's very, very repetitive. And repetitive is not always a bad thing. It can be a good thing when you're making your projects.
Yeah.
So for instance, this one as well, just lift up, press in the middle, just release that, and then we can have a little bit of fun just by pressing the little ears. And then all that we need to do is if we go in with those other strips, so there was other strips that I've cut off our cardstock, which of course was 3¼ inch by 7½ inches. What I'm doing is let's pop my red liner tape onto the bottom of each one. So let's bring in the next one. And we're going to essentially make a ring. So let's take that one off here, and then we're going to take that one off here. So do one to start with. So all that I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn that around on itself.
Yep.
Pinch that. So we've got our circle ring. Let's do the second one, and then press that in. So we've then got our second one. Let's go back in with the bunny rabbit. And then what I'm going to do is let's take our tape, and then I'm going to add my tape just to the bottom here. A little piece there, and then a little piece here. This is where I was saying it can be really forgiving, so don't worry about it being exact, you know, like 1/4 inch or certain millimetres from the base. We're going to take them off, and then I like to go to the seam of the circle ring that I've created. So I've got the seam there, and then what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to sit that onto the top. So if I go that way, and then all that I'm going to do is I'm just going to then, I think I'm going to have to go face on for this one. So if I just go in, and then if I sit the bunny rabbit ears at the top there, and then if I just press down and pinch, and then we've got our little cute
That is brilliant.
little bunny rabbit. How cute. So let's do that once more. And then I've got my hot glue, and I've got some of them already on, some of my ribbon. So let's snip that one. And you could be adventurous if you want to have a little play with the sizing and make bigger ones and make smaller ones. Of course you can, absolutely. So let's take that one off and take that one off. So once again, we're just going to go into the front of the ring there, and just where we've got that seam, that join, I'm just going to go in, and then I'm just going to then press down, let that grab, let that hold. Now what you could do, I don't have any, but if you've got any little like white pom-poms or that,
oh, yeah,
you can pop them into the base there. You can do that. But then all that I need to then do is I've already started to attach 4 onto my ribbon here. So there's 4 that I've done. So
good.
Let's then take my hot glue. Now I'm going to use 1 as a spacer here. So let's turn that the right way. So if I pop 1 on, so that's just to space it out. So there's that one. At that back, that seam there, let's go in with my hot glue, and then I'm just going to add and press. And then what we can do is, again, is let's run that one into here. So let's add my glue into there, like so. And this time what I'm going to do is just roughly gauge it, and then press that in.
That's so good.
And then there we go. If I've got long enough arms, what we've then got is we'll try and then let's just get the ribbon all facing the right way. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's hold it that way. You get the gist of. Let's do it that way. So there's that way. There we go. We got that way. So we've got 4, 5, 6 in total. Having a little bit of fun there. And then if I just then pop that down, so you can see it there within the glass mat, and then that's how you can do the little bunny rabbit bunting.
So good, so good. Can also be used as napkin ring, says Babsy Cobra.
Yeah.
Great idea. Thank you, Craig. And Pat Demarest says they would be really cute for a baby shower.
Yes.
This is the thing. There's so many ideas and so many different ways to use these. I need some of those white Cadbury's eggs they have in the UK, says Sandy. Craig mentioned them yesterday. They're still doing those, are they? Oh. Oh, what?
You know the other day
Yeah.
when I was watching The Apprentice and I bought 4 and I ate all 4.
Oh, yes.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
I bought 4
Yeah.
and I ate 1 just before we went live and then
Yeah.
ate the other 3 last night while watching Celebrity Big Brother. Just saying.
So if there aren't any in the UK, you know the reason why and who's eating them.
And I'm starting to panic now that they're starting to get less and less. That I'm like, where am I going to get this white Cadbury's cream egg hit once they've all gone?
Oh dear. Lovely Easter basket, says Elaine. I didn't think it would be that easy to make, but I'm going to try it myself, you say. And Sandy says, I just ate some Easter M&Ms. The jar of chocolate made me do it. Lol. Love the bunny ears as well, says Colleen Passardi. Love the basket, says Sue. And Tara saying, don't know how I'm managing not to eat any of the eggs that are in this jar. Last chance saloon to get your guesses in on this, by the way. Oh, there's Craig. Yeah, if you guess and you get it right, then you're in with a chance of winning a £25 voucher. Just to say, if we do get more than one person who's closest or more than one person who gets it correct, we will do a draw to find out the one winner. It's a $25 voucher. So probably last chance saloon to get your guess in right now on how many eggs you think are in there. As I say, we've had as low as 46 and as high as about 460 odd. What do you think? Get your guess in now. And as I say, we will get a winner. If we have more than one correct answer, we will do a draw. Don't forget as well to check out the website. All your kind of Easter crafty goodies are there for you to shop. So your crafterscompanion.co.uk here in the UK, .com in the .com in the US, and .eu if you're watching in Europe. You can pick up all of the deals right there, and you'll be able to make beautiful projects like we're seeing that you are sending in. Sandy Borek, absolutely love this. Again, look at these, Craig. Super cute little Easter treat bags. Look at those.
How cool are
Great,
those?
aren't they?
And how different they look by using pattern papers.
Yeah.
They look really, really cool, really fab, and they work well.
And those bunny ears that you use in your scrapbook
That's
page
them.
are there, of course.
That's them.
I love the chick coming out the cracked egg as well. I think that's brilliant. There's one more to show for now. Lisa Pakerson, thank you for sending in your projects. All super cute. Bit of batch making going on there. Look at that.
That is so cool as well.
Really,
Love
really
the Easter
great.
egg aperture.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all of your wonderful pictures. It's been a great show, this, hasn't it? And lots still to come today. We're back in just over an hour's time with a masterclass on the Royal Jungle. And then straight after that, we have got a brand new half-hour show, Crafts Under the Hammer, Fast and Furious. You will need to be in because once it's going, it's gone. And tonight, of course, launch party as well. So 3 more shows still to come. Right, we will come back to me in about 5 or 6 minutes time and reveal who our winner is going to be for that $25 voucher. But let us get in one more quick demo with Craig before we do.
What about the rosette wreath? How cool is this? Now, I'm not going to be making the whole lot, but what I am going to show you is how you can make one of those rosettes just with your scoreboard. Now, for anyone that just needs a little reminder of the pad that I've used, so many of us have got the pastel pad. That's the one that I've been using within, of course, this Eggstravaganza show. I think it worked really well, and of course, it's my favorite. So what I have done is I've gone in with the lilac here. Now, I've kept it 12 inches, but I've cut it to 2 inches in width. So 2 by 12, and you'll need 2 of these. So let's go in with 1. You can always have a play with the actual sizes of the pleats of the rosettes, but what I tend to do is every ½ an inch. So I'm going to go in at every ½ an inch, and then I'm just going to then score. Now, I like to use this pad or any block cardstock pad because, of course, then it's double-sided. So it means you're going to get that colour on each side. If you are using a pattern paper, it can be good then, of course, to be using a double-sided pattern paper, because as we start to then pleat it, you'll start to see both sides. So working all the way along, every ½ an inch, I'm just scoring. So work our way. And because we're at ½ an inch, I've purposely used my score master, and you can see I've not got any more space to start to score. Well, it's every ½ an inch, so it's really easy. So let's just flip it around and then carry on going again. And then what we will do is we'll then meet where we've left off a moment ago. So let's keep going all the way along. Try and keep it as straight as you can so that your rosettes don't go on the wonk. But if we work our way, and then there we go, I'm now back perfect, meeting up to that last ½ an inch. Move that one out the way, and then we're going to start to pleat it. So just back and forth, or as crafters, mountain and valley.
Yeah.
So back and forth on each one, and we're just going to then cross it over, fold, cross it over. You can stop halfway, press it together, or you can keep going until you get to the end. And then once you're at the end, just flatten that down, press that in, and then what we've got is we've got our concertina strip.
Brilliant.
I've got within a second one that we can see, and then what I'm going to do on each end, I'm just going to overlap each section. So this one and my additional one, I'm going to take my red liner tape again. You can use your tape runner, you can use your tacky glue. Been purposely trying to use a couple of different ones within this show just to show you. But I would certainly say a lot of this is construction, maybe not necessarily the scrapbook. So my go-to, Ben, would always be the tacky glue or the red liner tape.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely use our tape runner and be confident in knowing that it's going to stay strong and it's going to stay together. So we're going to pop these little strips of our chosen adhesive, and then we're going to take them ones off. So let's peel that one, and then we'll take the other side. Now, it's entirely up to you whether you want to take them all off at once or only do one at a time. Now, what I mean by that, as you can see, I'm happy taking the red liner tape off of both sides. If it's someone like Leanne prefers to take one side off first, connect it, and then take the backing off the other side. It's entirely up to you. But all then we need to do is we just need to then connect them over. So if I press that one into there, give it a good press, and then that concertina just carries all the way along. And then we're going to do the same on this side. But of course, what we're going to end up doing is creating a loop. So we're just going to cross over, and then we're going to press, and then now we've got what's going to be the start of our rosette in a moment. And then all you need to do is just press inwards and then just bunch it up into that centre. This one, I just need to then pull back ever so slightly. And then once we then overlap that in, pull that together, fold that in, you'll see your rosette comes together. So let's take a little bit of scrap cardstock, and I do mean it just needs to be scrap. It doesn't need to be anything specific. So I've got a little dot of card. It's a little bit of white card. I'm then going to lift that up, and then what we're going to do is we're then going to then bunch that into the centre.
Yeah.
So it's been caught by our hot glue, and then I'm just going to then hold and press for a few moments for that to then grab. But you can see how that rosette is starting to come together, and all that I've done is pop that little bit of scrap onto the back. If you find maybe that the glue hasn't travelled all the way behind, and what I mean by that is if I lift that up, you can see it's not quite caught. What you can do is then just go into the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Pop a little bit of glue into the middle, because you won't, in the end, see that, because what you're going to end up doing is maybe putting a die-cut circle or maybe a little flower in there, something just to hide that little centre. But let's press that just a little bit longer. I would highly, highly recommend hot glue for your rosettes.
Yes.
Because your tacky glue, you're going to be there for ages trying to then hold it. Your glue gel, you're going to be there for even longer. You're going to then potentially have to put books on top. It might then squash it. So even if you're not a big fan of hot glue, I would highly recommend using your hot glue for the rosettes. And then if it catches on your glass mat, the great thing with the glass mat, of course, is then it just lifts up and then you've got your cool rosette, which all you then need to do is then just pop little die cut circles. If you want to know, that was a bit of Mountboard and it was 8 by 8 and that centre there is 1.5 inches. So take a dinner plate, a couple of smaller dinner plates, draw around, cut around, and then make all of your rosettes and then just start to then assemble them together. And then there you go. You'll have gone from your rosette that we've created there into your finished one with all these different colours.
That is brilliant. Loads and loads of you saying how much you love that show. And I tell you what, lots of you saying you're going to try all of these projects as well. PB Brew Martin says, one of the best everyone can do shows, and that is a great way to describe it. Like all the crafts applicable for everybody, and hopefully stuff that you'll be able to try for yourself, try with the kids, try with the grandkids as well. The folding looks really relaxing, says Annie L. And thank you to Karen, who says, just a tip, if you're doing several, score the whole piece of 12 by 12 and then cut. Loads of lovely comments coming through. Denise says, I would suggest Craig buys the white eggs by the case, but then he would eat them all in a day.
Exactly, I would end up eating them all in that whole day, probably.
Can you imagine? He'd get like a case of like 24, wouldn't he? He'd just be sat there at home. Wow. Wow.
It's maybe a good thing, actually, last year and this year, they've not done the white Cadbury's cream eggs in the pack of 5. You do get them, but you get the milk. I think you get the Galaxy one or something like that. Because if they did do them in the boxes, that's it. That's it. No hope. I'd be buying them all.
Pamela says, thank you, Craig. Now I know how rosettes are done. Beautiful. Just generally lots of love. That rosette wreath is so flipping cute, says Tara Baldwin. Loads of great shows still to come today. As I mentioned, coming up in an hour's time, we have got Masterclass with the Royal Jungle. So if you've already got yours, get yours out, get ready to craft, get ready to be inspired. And then following that straight after, brand new half-hour show, Crafts Under the Hammer, 10 items. We'll have 3 minutes on each item. You'll have half an hour to grab the deals, which are sensational, hence why only for half an hour in that show. And then tonight, live at 5, we've got launch party with some of your favourite launches being put to the test. Now, we have been giving you the opportunity to win £25 or $25 in vouchers if you could guess how many eggs there were in this jar. Now, we had guesses, as I say, from as low as about 32 actually, up to 456. We can only have one winner, and as I said, what we're doing is, in the event where we had one or more people getting it correctly, we were going to do a draw, and that's exactly what we've had to do. Yes. So we've had to pick somebody. How this has worked, there were 3 names. There were 3 people who guessed the amount correctly, and I was the random number generator. Rachel told me to pick 1, 2, or 3. Okay. So I picked number 3. I'll give the other 2 honourable mentions. But the winner of the £25, $25 voucher for guessing the correct amount in here, which is 81, Karen Calnin. Congratulations,
well
Karen. You were picked. The other 2 who guessed correctly were Catherine Bennett and Alison Gate. But as I say, we can only pick one. So Karen, you were chosen at random. Karen, message us below CTV prizes at crafterscompanion.co.uk and we will get your voucher sent out to you. Massive thank you to Craig. What an absolutely brilliant show. And we are going to be back with you in an hour's time for more fun here at Crafters TV. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Doodles.